Blame Truth here, back with another video, and this one's going to be quite important. I'm going to do that thing where I ask you guys to please like this because it helps put the video into the algorithm, because I think this needs to be seen. I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it. I have to give a thank you to Prime Pete for showing me this. I somehow missed this when it was first revealed 2 years ago. I don't know how I missed it, but I missed it. And I'd like to apologize for not covering it until now, at least. What am I talking about? Well, guys, we've talked about the sins of Activision Blizzard at length on this channel, but this may actually be the most disgusting thing, because this entire thing I'm about to show you is completely dehumanizing, and at a certain point, I am almost fearful of calling this out. I'm fearful of calling this out because I don't really necessarily know where we're going to be at as a society in 5 to 10 years with the way things are going and how crazy people are getting in general. But I think I need to talk about this because this is... I'm just against it. I'm against it, and I think if you have a working logical brain and you're not insane, you will also be against it as well. What am I talking about? Let's get right on into the meat and potatoes. About 2 years ago to the day now, Activision Blizzard, unprompted, just released this blog post about their DEI generator. What is a DEI generator? Diversity, equity, inclusion. No matter how you feel about it, it's a thing nowadays. And here's the issue. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. When I think of diversity, equity, inclusion, I think of Street Fighter 2. That was a game that kind of did it. Granted, the game was called The World Warrior, and you needed a varied cast of characters. It made sense within the game universe, but I digress. It's a moot point. I just kind of hate when it's forced because it's not for good intentions. And like, that's what I'm trying to kind of show you in this video. Let me just read some of the article from Forbes here. You guys can be the judge. I'm just going to read it piece by piece, give my thoughts on it, and then keep going with the article and some examples and some stuff from Reddit as well. So this Forbes article from about 2 years ago says this: yesterday, unprompted, Activision Blizzard released a long blog post, which has been removed. I can't find it anymore. Dedicated to showcasing a diversity space tool made by King, the Sweden-founded Malta-based mobile arm of the company. In it, they show how the tool can be used to help ensure that games have diversity and there are no blind spots from the team in terms of underrepresented characters or unconscious biases. But while the mission sounds noble, the way the system works in practice by assigning seemingly arbitrary ranking numbers to different races, genders, sexualities, and body types has united both left and right-leaning gamers in condemning how terrible this comes across. Yes, you read that right, viewer. These people have ranked certain body types and races, genders, sexual orientation in this particular tool. Martin Luther King Jr. is rolling over in his fucking grave right now. This is the exact opposite of what that man wanted when he gave his infamous speech. The main issue I have with a lot of this forced DEI stuff in movies, games, what have you, is that ironically it makes everything less diverse. Yes, in a vacuum, in a singular product, that you have your diversity there. But when you look at every movie, video game, TV show, and everything has the same exact characters, it's the same exact diversity like stereotypes, then things become less diverse, ironically. Like, you know what I mean? If you look at it as a whole, there is no diversity because everything is the same. You have the same exact character archetypes, stereotypes, what have you, written into everything. So in a way, there is no diversity. But, I can't think of like a movie, for example, such as, I just watched Scarface just recently. You can't really have like a super diverse cast of characters in Scarface. Granted, there are quite a few, but it's mostly like Cubans and white people. You know what I mean? It's a great movie, by the way. Well, I say Cubans. Al Pacino was an Italian man playing a Cuban, but he did a great job, right? Yeah, they actually gave a ranking number to different aspects of the human condition, the human body, the human condition, sexual orientation, things outside of people's control. And it's honest to God dehumanizing. It's completely and utterly dehumanizing. And if I can just be so bold here, and I'm sorry, if I can just be so bold, this is not that much different than the ideologies taught by a certain dictator round about World War II. Maybe the opposites, maybe in the opposite spectrum here, on the opposite side, but this isn't too far off. I don't know. It's going so far in the other direction that it's getting to that point. Speaking of World War II, Call of Duty Vanguard used this tool apparently, and you can kind of tell from this particular screenshot here. Now, did I care that Vanguard had a diverse cast of characters? Well, I didn't play the single player because I heard it sucked, but for multiplayer, don't care, man. Literally bring in anybody. That makes sense, it makes sense. There's no story. Bring in different people, archetypes, what have you. Maybe hold off on the weird, Teletubby, Ninja Turtle, furry, wet dream shit they got going on over here. I don't need to see this. Bring in real people, make them as diverse as you want. Channel Street Fighter 2, call it Call of Duty The World Warrior. But also, don't make all the women ugly. Don't give them zeros for being slim and curvy. That's wrong. Maybe just make people that are interesting first and foremost, regardless of any of that other stuff. First and foremost, creatively speaking, make them interesting. Then maybe, devise some looks based on some things like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me spitballing. Maybe don't come across as pandering because you force it. Maybe, just maybe, people smart enough to look deep into your product and think outside the box will see that that's exactly what you're doing and not enjoy the product because of that. Go back to the article here though. Activision Blizzard has now published an addendum to the post in addition to editing parts of it based on the backlash yesterday, which caused the company to trend negatively, which is usually the only reason it has trended in the last year or so. Another controversy like this is not what they need, and this is how they've tried to explain the tool, in addition to heavily altering the post itself and removing all the imagery that was posted with it. You can see the editor's notes here. I'm not even going to read it because there is no excusing it. There is no explaining it away. It's just garbage. It's just suits trying to pander pretty much at the end of the day. Let's consult Reddit now, actually, because I want to show you guys this particular comment and some discourse surrounding this comment. They legit have stat slider pentagons for culture, race, beauty, sexual orientation, body type, physical ability, cognitive ability, etc. I'm commenting a lot here because I am legit confused by this, but this is almost a whole new level of dehumanizing. Not sure if that's the right word, but it's like you are quantifying these extremely fluid, personal, and often subjective, beauty especially, characteristics of being, of just who people are, and you're trying to figure out which number of which makes someone real versus tokenism. Diversity as an algorithm seems like a great way to strip people of their humanity and boil them down to a bunch of traits out of their control. Why isn't personality or temperament included in this? I guess some effort might have gone into this, which kind of makes this admirable, but I don't know, man. That's a very positive take overall. Most people were not as positive. Shingorilla says this, and he references this Austin Walker tweet, which talks about getting sent into space after seeing the sliders and the ranking system or whatever. Look at heterosexual score 0, woman score 5. What the fuck does this shit mean? Basically, straight white male is a default 0, I guess. Torbjorn scored super high, though. The chart makes no sense. Well, he is a bald, short, one-eyed, one-arm old man. Missing half his limbs and eyes counts for something. And this person says, which further illustrates the stupidity of these metrics. The characters that get diversity points for being disabled in Overwatch also universally have cybernetic parts which function better than human limbs. Can these characters even be considered disabled? It's all incredibly subjective, especially since a lot of the characters are superficially disabled in quote-unquote cool ways. I truly don't know how I missed this 2 years ago. I don't know how I missed this. Again, I want to thank Prime Pete for bringing this to my attention, because if this is where gaming and movies and media is heading, then I don't want to even experience any of it. I will stay in my room and just watch the same old movies and play the same old video games I love. I'll dabble into indie games like Cultic here, and I'll stay the hell away from this mess, because I don't know. This reminds me of, if we can go back to more movie references, this reminds me of Get Out, if you guys have seen that, where Daniel Kaluuya's character is like walking around this huge party of white people, and they're all like pandering to him. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, where they're just like, oh, "How you doing, Chris?" which is his character's name in the movie, and they're like, "Man, you do any golfing? I love Tiger Woods." And he's just like, okay. It's like stuff like that. This is what it reminds me of. Just, I don't know, man. Here's some more Reddit discourse about this tool. This is referencing the Activision Blizzard official article, which is no longer, like, published on their site. I wonder why. The idea of a tool to make characters more diverse and inclusive may seem a little hard to wrap your head around. That's a quote from the article. And then Green says, yeah, you could say that. Was there really no other way to achieve this without an app? This guy says, all this proves is what we already knew, literally just lines on a graph for them. This guy says, reminds me of when I think it was the people who run E3 once had an email leak where they said something to the effect of gender and racial identity representation are chits that can be cashed in for goodwill. I think he means chips. But this is the most blunt codification of it I've seen since. This guy says, pretty sure that was EA talking about donating to charities. Hell, it was also how Stephanie McMahon described WWE charity programs. Guys, I think these multi-billion-dollar companies have ulterior motives when they start being involved in social initiatives. Guys, I'm just going to say this, and I said this in a previous video, the whole diversity hire thing, I don't understand it. You know, when I was talking about hiring devs, like Call of Duty devs, video game devs, what have you, you should always just hire the best people for the job, bar none. There should be no other metric taken into account. Hire the best people for the job. If I have the choice of doctors and you just give me the reviews of these doctors, I'm going to pick the doctor with the highest reviews that falls in line with my budget and nothing else. I do not care if they are a man, woman, anything in between. Do not care about any of that. You know, if this doctor is going to do like life-saving surgery on me, I just want the best doctor. I don't care about anything else. Care about nothing else. Nothing. You know, if I am to pick my pilot for a plane, I want to pick the pilot. That's just the best fucking pilot. I don't want to crash into a mountain because someone chose to hire based on something else other than skill as a pilot. It's insane to me that this could be considered a controversial opinion, not just in 2024, but maybe like 5-10 years down the line. I don't know, man. If you told me like 10 years ago the stuff I was saying would be like almost taboo, I'd be shocked. I really would be shocked. But I don't know. I just want us to come together instead of focusing on the fucking differences and focus on the things that make us all human. If I were to talk to each and every one of my subscribers, each and every viewer of this video, we have a lot more that's the same about us than we do different. Never mind that 98% of my viewer base is male, but regardless of anything else, I mean, male, female, anything in between, you know, white, black, Asian, Indian, whatever, we have more in common than we have differences. Why are we focusing on the difference? I don't know, man. The world's getting crazy. I just wanted to bring this to your attention, guys. And I've been selling a lot of stuff on eBay currently, so I've been a little busy spring cleaning. I will get back to the regular video grind here pretty soon. Got some ideas in the pipeline. Just haven't really had time to do them lately. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at time management, but being a homeowner and having to sell stuff and being a dog owner and being a friend and being a son to my mom and all this stuff really gets in the way sometimes of YouTube. I love YouTube because I get to work my own schedule and stuff, but there's certain times I just want to grind YouTube and then I just don't have the time. I got too much other stuff going on. So I'm going to try to make time to grind YouTube, even though it's going to be a bit of a slow summer as it pertains to Call of Duty, but whatever, dude. I've been carrying Call of Duty's carcass this long. Well, what's a few more months until the next game comes out? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, and subscribe. If this resonated with you, seriously, leave a like rating. Let me know I'm not insane here, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Everybody have a good one. Everybody be good to each other. And again, focus on the things we have in common, not our differences. Stay cool. I'm out. Peace.
Do some parting advice?